What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And this video, we're going to be doing the showcase video for Cat, Viper, and Dogstorm, the brand new 6+, the first 6+ dual unit in the game. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they're going to introduce, future 6+s. I already made a video a few days ago talking about the other dual units that I would love to see receive a Super Evolution this year. But honestly, all of the dual units deserve Super Evolutions in some way, shape, or form. The characters haven't received these buffs for a very, very long time, so the fact that we're getting these buffs now is kind of a blessing in disguise, because it means these units are going to be even better than what we would have gotten if they released, years ago. But speaking of Dogstorm and Cat Viper, dude, this unit, they really went above and beyond, and I think it's pretty clear to say it might be one of the best 6+s that's ever come out in the game's history. And I don't really say that lightly. I think this is definitely up there, like top 3 best Super Evolution, no doubt. What they've done to this unit, if you just compare from what they originally did to what they do now, it's a night and day difference. They've done such a fantastic job. So let's just get into it. Let's start talking about their captain ability. We'll talk more about their dual captain, because the solo captains are pretty much the same, with some very, very minor differences. But the captain ability is going to reduce all characters' cooldowns by -2 at the start of the quest, but then further reduce their own cooldown by a further 2 turns. Meaning at the start of the quest, they have -4 cooldown for themselves. That's pretty great. And of course, if you're running double Cat Viper or Cat Viper Dogstorm, you're going to be able to get, -2 for the whole crew. That's -4, and then additional -2 for themselves. So it's -6, -2 from cooldown is -8, -1 from a potential ship, -9 cooldown to themselves at the start of the quest. You don't have to be Einstein to figure out that that's fantastic. And of course, they have another additional ability, which we'll get to in a moment, that gives them additional cooldown. Like, I think this is the best speed farming captain in the game, just in terms of amount of cooldown you get. This is as good as it gets. They also will boost the attack and HP of Slasher, Cerebral, Striker, and Powerhouse characters. The health boost is only 1.2. But the attack boost is 5.25 in their dual form. In their singular forms, the attack boost is a 4.75 with a matching slot, 4.5 otherwise. So definitely a lot weaker. But, in their dual form, it's 5.25 down to a 5 times without the matching slot. In their dual form, they make Strength, Psi, and Recovery slots beneficial. The solo forms make Recovery slots beneficial on both sides. And depending on the captain, you'll also get Strength or Psi slots as beneficial. Now, interesting, in their solo forms, they actually don't have any healing mechanics, but for some reason, in their dual form, they will heal 2 times their recovery for every perfect that you hit. That's actually really strong. The amount of healing you get from their dual captain is actually kind of absurd, so just that alone is really good. And then the additional effect at the end that says it reduces the crew's special charge time by 2 turns at the start of Battle 3. So we already talked about how much cooldown you get at the start of the fight, but when you get to Battle 3, so Stage 3, you get an additional -2 cooldown. So yeah, this is why I say this is probably the best speed farming captain in the game. Even though we have Dogstorm and Cat Viper, the super class and super type units that came out last year, those units are still very good though, because of the ability to bypass defensive effects. But if you take that out, I mean, this unit is definitely better in terms of speed farming. The special ability of this unit also receives some pretty drastic increases, so let's go ahead and break that one down now. So not only does all the numbers just kind of get increased, but this unit also receives a utility effect, reducing 6 turns of attack down and chain reduction, which is kind of neat. I mean, like, why not? Then it will also provide you an attack boost and a color affinity boost to Slasher, Cerebral, Striker, Powerhouse of 2.25 for 1 turn. So that's honestly really good as well. They do go on to say that if you land 2 perfects during the turn you launch the special, you get a 2.5 orb boost for 1 turn for the same classes of Slasher, Cerebral, and Striker, Powerhouse. So that's pretty neat. So very, very similar to how it was before, except that the numbers are just drastically increased. But then, it does go on to say that if you already have an orb boost when you launch the special of this character, you actually will receive a 2 times conditional boost against characters that have defense down. So that's pretty neat. The only thing is this character doesn't naturally have a way to reduce the enemy's defense, so you do have to have some type of character that is able to do that. However, there is a character that you can attach to Dogstorm and Cat Viper that will trigger this effect. The Rare Recruit Okiku that came out during the K-Dad Sugo Fest late last year has a support that attaches to this unit, and when you use the special, you get an 80% defense reduction to the opponent, which means if the enemy can have their defense lowered, you can have so much damage inflicted with just one special launch. And of course, there's all of this damage coming in, but there's also the utility of the attack down and the chain reduction removal. So lots of really good things for this Dogstorm and Cat Viper. And I mean, look, we weren't really expecting too much from this super evolution, but what they've given us is honestly pretty freaking amazing. And then to wrap up this unit in a nice little neat bow is their swap effect, because their swap effect is also receiving some pretty interesting buffs. So let's have a look at the base switch here, which is going to change their own slot into matching. It doesn't go through block slots, unfortunately, but hardly, you know, a real debuff. It's still honestly really strong for what they got. Previously, they never even used to give themselves a matching slot with their swap effect, so this is already a really nice change. So being able to give themselves a matching slot, reducing 1 turn of paralysis for the entire crew, and also removing their own slot blind and despair completely, and also giving themselves a 2x orb boost only for themselves for 1 turn. And then just also very briefly, I want to touch up on this real clip right here, which is going to be up against the local sea monster level 5 difficulty. This character being introduced allows players to actually go ahead and clear level 5 local sea monster much easier, and this is not the only team that you can use in order to beat it. Dogstorm and Cat Viper have such high multipliers compared to what they had previously, and their swap effect obviously got such a huge buff that this unit allows you to build much more efficient teams to actually clear this content. I know a lot of people out there essentially had everything cleared except for level 5 local sea monster due to the amount of investments that were required to beat it naturally before, but now with the introduction of this unit, most people are going to be able to build more accessible teams in order to clear this content, which is lovely to see. But then you have their super swap, which is actually mistyped in the game. There's actually a typo here, because the super swap, when you read the in-game text, says that it changes their own slot into matching. However, this is a mistake. The super swap of dog and cat will change all character slots into matching. Doesn't go through block slots, but it's a full board of matching slots nonetheless, which is ridiculous. Also removing 4 turns of paralysis for the entire crew, removing their own slot bind and despair, and then instead of the orb boost being just for themselves, it's now going to be a 2x orb boost to slash a cerebral striker powerhouse. So this is where you can use the super swap to give a full board of slots and an orb boost, and then you can use their special to get an attack boost and a color affinity boost, and a defense down conditional boost, which you can proc with the support of Okiku that attaches to this character. So the fact that you can have one unit by themselves providing all of these buffs is kind of ridiculous, and you can run like double cat dog and they can be your dedicated boosters for the crew, and then you can just use your crewmates for just pure utility. You can do some crazy stuff with dog and cat, and I'm really excited to see how the community is going to build teams with these characters moving forward. And of course, the main thing about this unit and why the release of this unit is so significant, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's the first dual unit super evolution in the game, so there's lots to look forward to in the future. But secondly, it's mainly for local sea monster. The fact that we now have more accessible teams to clear this content is so good, as many people really struggled to clear this in the past, and this is going to be massive moving forward, so I'm really excited for that. But that is going to wrap it up from me. Overall, this is an amazing super evolution, one of the top 3 best super evolutions to ever release in the game's history. Really hope you guys have enjoyed this one today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.